It is not often that I see a brand new product that has this amount of value per dollar. Because spoiler alert, it is somehow completely free. But more importantly, it is not often that I see a brand new adventure for 5th edition playable on any tier of play, written in such a fresh and most of all easy to use format. So let's take a look at Slayer Masquerade by Everon Games. Hi there, fellow roleplayers and game masters. My name is Mr. Tarask, and this is Slayer Masquerade by Everon Games, ready to play at any level. This is a full 46 pages PDF adventure that I think is really well designed, really fresh way of approaching things. Not only in a way how it is designed and how the story kind of like goes and how you can like kind of choose your own adventure, but also in a way of how easy to use it is. And as you know, I am a really big fan of usability and having like the right links to the right stuff in the book at the right time when you're running an adventure. Slayer Masquerade for me does all of that correctly. Now, you can get your hands on this completely for free by Everon Games. And I have to say, before I go deeper into that, really quickly, this is a sponsored video by Everon Games. They sent me an email a few weeks ago asking me if I wanted to talk about their adventure kit. Their free adventure kit. Now, how can you get this adventure in your inbox or whatever? There's basically two ways. The first way is if you want the entire package with like the adventure, the maps, the tokens, and what else is in there. There's some other stuff in there in like a zip file on your computer. You can just pay $2.99 and get the entire premium tier and get instant access to all of that stuff. Now, if you want that stuff, all of that stuff completely for free, there's also a way. All you need to do is go to the link in the description below, hit your name and your email address here, and so click the subscribe for free thing, right? Then you get zero cost for a full adventure, all resources, 0 tabs, let yourself have fun. So how it works, you subscribe for free, receive weekly emails, and after 4 emails, you got the entire thing. If after 1 email, you're like, dude, this looks really interesting, I'm just gonna pay $2.99 and play the entire adventure and have it like today, you can do that, $2.99. Now, this is a sponsored video, like I said, but like with all of my sponsored videos, all of my words are my own, meaning that they just asked me to show this to you and kind of give you my opinion on it and see if you want to grab it for yourself, hit the free thing, get like the 4 newsletters where you can unlock a part of this every newsletter, so in 4 weeks time you'll have the entire thing, right? Completely for free. Now, Slayer Masquerade, normally I am not big into subscription type things, even if they're free. If you, like, let me explain for a while, really quickly. I want to really quickly see if you can still see this, right? So, I don't like that kind of stuff, like dripping in and stuff. I'm just not into that personally. So often when I get an email from that kind of stuff, I take a look at it and I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm not really into this. But Slayer Masquerade is, I have the full release here, right? Because I'm Mr. Tarask and I get full releases of stuff. That's just the way it is. So I can review it for you and you can see if it is for you, right? So Slayer Masquerade, ready to play at any level. And there is a lot of good stuff to be said about this. Now, this isn't a deep review of the book, although I've read it cover to cover and I really like it and I actually want to play it with my players. It is more of a video telling you that it exists and you can go grab it for free, or you can pay $2.99 to get it instantly, right? So what is this? And the thing that I like about this most is that it is kind of like a choose your own adventure book. Now, mostly choose your own adventure books are for like the ones that I read when I was a child, where like you were a reader, you were alone in your bed or on the toilet, whatever, and you choose what the main character, or you being the main character sometimes, do, and then you go to that page, right? And you do that thing and then something else happens. It's basically that, but then it is for an entire party. It is an adventure that has just all kinds of ways of going through the adventure, but also it is linear enough for it to have kind of like a beginning, a middle, and an end. Although there's like more ways it can end, it basically has like this main storyline across it, and you, as the players decide to do stuff, or the party decides to do stuff, you weave your way through the story or to the through the overarching plot line, basically. But now, what they really did here is ease of use. And that is something that I really like. Still too often, I read books and there is these incredible storylines and there is these incredible subplots and incredible NPCs. But I find myself flipping through the book, finding the right part to read when the players surprise me, or when I don't know, they take a left turn while I thought they should have taken a right turn, and I prepared wrongly and I don't know where to go. This book really puts that in the shadows, because this book is really good about that. By the way, this also comes with a printable file, so you can print it out, you can bind it yourself, have a printed version. It comes with the maps, it comes with everything, right? So the first, even in the beginning, they give you an introduction. There is a small synopsis, not like the main storyline or like the truth. That's later. And they give you locations, important sites, factions, key NPCs, enemies, and other like event type of things, right? This is basically a cheat sheet. You just print this out, put this next to you as a game master, because this is really important. Like if somebody calls a name out and you're like, oh, who was that again? It's like been 3 weeks since we played. You just read it really quickly and you get that. Oh, that was that person. Okay. What is that important? Like the banquet hall is the center of the Masquerade ball, all that stuff, right? You get those hints instantly from this synopsis introduction page, basically. That is what I really like about it. And then something they do really well is, since this is a... I don't want to spoil the entire plot, but there is this thing that happened in the past where basically a samurai basically murdered an entire village because they were throwing racial slurs at the samurai. Which is the only correct way to respond, right? So he murdered the entire village. There's only 2 people that know about that. That is like what the players need to uncover, and they need to like decide in the end what to do with that information. But it all revolves around this ball. It is a masquerade ball, kind of, and every hour in this masquerade ball where the players are invited to, somebody dies in that ball, and it is always like a different way they die, and the players kind of figure that out, and there's different ways of weaving yourself through that ball and through the rooms in that mansion where everything happens. So what they do is they provide us with checkpoints. Use the checkpoints to navigate your players through the adventure. We outlined potential paths, but as we all know, players often choose the most unexpected outcomes. No worries, adapt and guide them to the next checkpoint using their own choices. If you see a link, follow it, and for a full event description, which includes a link back to your starting point. So this is really cool. So what they do is they give 5 checkpoints. So let's get this party started, clues and cards, racing against the clock, secrets below the surface, and the final countdown. And they give a bunch of little scenarios, or whatever you want to call them, within that checkpoint. That can happen, should happen, or sometimes do not have to happen, but they are optional. And what they give here is like the ones a path the players might take. Now everything in red here is it is basically a link to that scenario. It's a small scenario, we'll get to that later, and then you can run that scenario and go back to the checkpoint you were at until the players figure a thing out, and then they might get to the second checkpoint, and they run a few of these other little scenarios, right? Try to keep up with me. Now, also something they say is there's a faction setting here where you need to read this, because this is like what really happened with the samurai murdering the entire village, and why like you as a game master should know that. So it loads really slowly on my computer for some reason. I don't know why that is, but that's happening today for some reason. So, yeah, all of these scenarios are like little scenarios. So if I click one of these, I don't know, I'm just going to click Death Antidote right here. Death Antidote, where is it? I clicked it. Where is it? Death Antidote. Am I? Oh, right here. So there's a checkpoint here. They do this entire, so this happens in checkpoint 2, and the location is in the villa, hallway near the courtyard. The time of day should be evening, and then there's a description. There's a note they find, and then there are basically encounters or checks they could make in order to find stuff out, or maybe a combat encounter that could happen. And then at the end of this one, there's return to checkpoint. Sometimes there's more outcomes to one, and that is what I really like. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure type thing. For example, here's one in phase 4, I think this is. It's a puzzle, a fire elemental puzzle type thing, and after so they receive a dragon's egg at the end of the scenario, which is really important to the story. There's two things that can happen. Either after retrieving the dragon egg from the Zan's vault, the PCs can locate the hidden chamber where the ancient dragon is imprisoned. That leads to the event, the Dragon's Dilemma. You click that, you go to that event. Done, right? In case the PCs don't want to look for the dragon and give the egg to Rakshas straight away, or leave the egg for themselves, this leads to the event, the one who loves chaos. You click that event and you go to the right type of event, making it kinda a choose your own adventure type thing, which I really like the randomness of this, and I'm really curious to put this in front of my players, and I'm gonna, because I am right now running a Tales of the Valiant game in the city of Ptolis for my players. So I really want to put this in the city of Ptolis, because the city of Ptolis is big enough to put anything like this in. This is like plug and play content right here, right? So that's what I think is amazing about it. Now, another thing that they do really well is instead of giving you like for example, there's a charisma check, a performance check to outwit. It says a medium charisma performance check. Right here it says a medium check. It says like a medium hard, a hard one, an easy one, all of that stuff. And they kind of just, right here, to keep the adventure system agnostic, ability checks are defined by words instead of numbers. A very easy check succeeds almost always, easy succeeds most of the time, medium 50-50, medium hard, very hard, rarely succeeds. This flexible system can adapt to different player levels and systems to feel free to adjust the difficulty to your needs. So I said it was a 5th edition thing, and it's kind of, when you read it, it feels like 5th edition, but you could play this like, just like change the DC around. I could run this for the Cypher system perfectly, like that, because I know what the DCs for the Cypher system, which ones are very easy and which ones are nearly impossible. But they go from 5 to 30, and which is a example, but that is not the case for every level, right? You can change that around. So that's why you can play it on tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Like easy is a 10 is easy on tier 1, but a 10 is very easy on tier 2, right? So that's where the difference is, and Using Game Master can like kind of experiment with that and kind of be like, oh, it's a very easy one. One of the players should make this ability check, so I'm gonna just, and they're tier 3, so I'm just gonna give it the 10, and somebody will probably make it, right? And that is basically it. That is basically Slayer's Masquerade. Now, that's not it, because there's more. Because as you can see, there are, all the stat blocks are in here. For the water elementals, air elemental, fire elemental, there's a storm dragon. There is all kinds of like a samurai stat block. There's NPC cards in here. Let me just click like the dragon and go from there. There's a storm dragon, oriental storm dragon, which I really like. There are NPC cards in here with like their stats. There's a lot of monstrous races in these NPCs, by the way. One of the main themes of this adventure is like monstrous races. Like there's a lot of these. Well, there's Arakokra, there's Tiefling, there is the Tabaxi, all that kind of stuff, right? There is handouts with like notes you can give to your players. An encounter generator table for if you want to like expand the encounter, like have like the adventure, have a few more encounters in there. It all goes by difficulty. It's very welcome. There's maps in here that you can get separately if you download the full package, like at the end of the 4 weeks or $2.99. You get these maps in like a very high what's it called, resolution. There is a character sheet specially designed for this one. And yeah, that's basically it. So we have the NPC stat blocks, we have art for all of the NPCs, all of the monsters, as you can see, have stat blocks. And yeah, it's just a complete thing. It is not something that refers to any other book, basically. And that's the strong point of it, to my opinion. It is a standalone adventure that you can play for 5th edition or Tales of the Valiant or other systems that are a bit like those systems. And it's standalone. It has the adventure, it has the NPCs, it has the monsters, it has the maps, it has everything. And it's going to give you 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 sessions of fun without referring to any other book. Until next video, bye-bye.